Yo, what's good everyone? Hope you're doing great. So today's story is gonna be a lot of stories in one. Hope you're gonna like it, and if you don't, well, fuck you. So let's get right into it. So the story starts, I was with my friend and we decided to go to the indigenous to get some weed. So my friend and I drove for over an hour to get there, and when we arrived, I asked my bro if he wants to come inside, but he didn't want because these people didn't give a shit. They were smoking inside the shop, literally hotboxing the weed store. And my bro was sober for over a year, so he didn't want to get high from the second-hand smoke. I got in the shop with $10 and bought 7 joints. That's why I love going to the indigenous. The stuff is cheap and that's some good shit. I wanted to get some sativa, but the girl behind the counter didn't want to sell me sativa because she saw I was nervous, so she sold me indica. Anyways, after getting my weed, I got back in my car and I drove back to my house. I wanted to smoke in the evening, but it was too late when I got to my friend's house. Then I went back to my house and went to sleep. The next day, I had some occupational therapy during the afternoon, so I went there. It was really fun. We were talking about the era of thoughts. Then when I went back to the village I live at, I went to a park with my car and lit up one of the joints. I smoked the shit out of it, and I just wanna mention that in the past I used to smoke a lot and I had a high tolerance to marijuana. But it was been months I haven't smoked, so I underestimated the power of the za. So after smoking the whole blunt, I was more fried than some KFC. Then I went on the swing in the park, baked as a motherfucker, and I was just there listening to some music. And for some reason, when I'm baked, I start to overthink a lot. Anyways, so in the lyrics of the music, it said that the police is going to test my piss. And I thought to myself that there's some cameras around there. And the owner of the park saw me smoking an entire joint. So he's going to call the police, then the police were going to test my pee, and I was gonna be in trouble. So I got off the swing, went in my car and drove away. As I was driving, I fucking zoned out and I crashed my car in an electric pole. And the worst part is, I was still zoned out even when I just crashed my car. I didn't even realize I just fucked up my car. After about 5 minutes, someone knocked on my car window and that's when I realized I was fucked. I just crashed my car while being high. So I knew I had to say something to get out of trouble. So I said to the guy that I fucking wanted to kill myself. My fucking high ass said that I wanted to kill myself to get out of trouble. Holy shit. There is nobody that is more stupid than I am. Anyway, so the guy called 911, and after a moment the cops and an ambulance came and they started to ask me some questions to see if I was healthy. I mean, I was only going 30 miles per hour, so I was chilling. But the paramedics took me in the ambulance and they drove me to the hospital. They took me to the mental hospital and it was my 3rd time going there. I was so high I don't even remember what happened. But I know the police took some of my blood for some drug tests. I woke up the next day and I was finally sober. Then during the day I talked to my psychiatrist and said the truth. I told her I didn't want to kill myself. I was just so high I didn't even know what I was doing. Then I called my parents and they told me that they won't take me back home. So because I had nowhere to go, I had to stay in the hospital until I find somewhere to live. My social worker enrolled me in a community house. I just had to wait for an answer and I didn't even know if I would be accepted. During my stay in the mental hospital, I met a guy that was around my age and we got along well. Every day I was sleeping the whole day. I only got out of my room to eat, and during the afternoon me and the guy were watching a TV show and we were bitching on the participants of the show. We laughed a lot and we kept seeing each other every day to bitch on the show. The guy was there because he did the same thing as me. He got into a car accident while being drunk and this guy actually wanted to kill himself. He crashed into a tree at over 60 miles per hour. His arm and leg were broken, so he was in a wheelchair. There was also a woman really fucked up in the head and she kept talking to herself. Sometimes she talked to the staff and man, it was so fun to watch. It was like watching a comedy show. One day, as I was walking around the hallways in the mental hospital, there was a bedroom door opened and I was kinda curious so I checked inside. and there was a guy naked doing I don't fucking know what, but when he saw me he rushed to the door to close it. I stayed in the hospital for about 1 month and it was so fucking boring. I felt every minute as they were hours. We could only get our phones 3 times a day during specific hours and we could go outside to smoke at the same time as we got our phones. One day, my social worker told me that I was accepted to stay at a community house. I was so fucking hyped. So after a couple of days, it was time to move to the community house. Before going there, my mom bought me some essential stuff because a community home was an alternative home for human development, which means it teaches you how to live by yourself. So I have to cook my stuff, wash my clothes by myself, do my groceries, keep my room clean, and more. The first day at the home they had a bed bug protocol where they had to check if your blanket and clothes had bed bugs. Then they showed you the house and there is common area like the kitchen, the living rooms, then there was the room. In total there was 9 rooms, but when I arrived there was only 2 people. Also there's the social workers that are there to help you reach your goals because the residents of the house mostly have mental issues and they are there to do a therapy to help them with life. The house was pretty big and every day there's activities. There's some somatic education, yoga, meeting objective, creation education, education thematic and more. So every day you have to do some activities for 1 to 2 hours. After a few days, there was a crackhead that arrived at the home and man, if you've never seen a crackhead doing yoga, you're missing out. Anyways, after a couple of weeks, a 40-year-old woman arrived and man, this girl was so annoying. She kept talking and talking like she would never shut the fuck up. She really liked having the attention of everyone, but one day she added me on Facebook and she started to talk to me on Messenger. And bro, she was like, "Oh, am I pretty? I feel like everyone thinks that I'm ugly," and stuff like that. A real 40 years old, pick-me girl that acts like she's 16 years old, I swear. A couple of days later, it was the evening and she asked me if I wanna drink some alcohol. And I just wanna say that before leaving there was a code of conduct to sign and one of the rules was we cannot consume any drugs or alcohol. The only thing we can consume was nicotine and your medication. But this girl didn't give a fuck and honestly I was kinda bored without being fucked up for a few days. So I told her that we can go to the liquor store and get some alcohol. And that's what we did. We walked to the liquor store and we bought a 12-pack of beer. Then we went next to a river to drink the beer. We didn't drink at the home because we didn't want to get caught. And next to the river there was a garbage can next to a bench so we can throw our empty cans of beer in the trash can. Also we didn't want the home to smell like alcohol. So yeah, we kept drinking and we both ended up drinking 6 beer each. And honestly, I was really fucked up. But I was doing better than ever. Being drunk after being sober for over 2 months felt great. After that, we both walked back to the home, and as we were walking, the girl started to talk about how she wants to fuck. She kept saying how she was sexually frustrated, and she asked me if I wanna fuck. Honestly, I didn't want to fuck with a 40-year-old woman, but I still ended up saying yes. So we both got in my room and we went straight for it. And man, what a mistake I made. The next days, she kept sticking to me. Like wherever I go, she was following me. When I went in the living room to chill on my phone, she was by my side. She always wanted some kisses and shit, but man, it felt so awkward. After a couple of days, she was still following me everywhere and every evening, she kept asking me for more sex. But I took my balls in my hand and I told her that she was annoying and I never wanna do anything sexual with her ever again. I told her that I was drunk and I didn't know what I was doing. And luckily, she understood my message and she stopped following me everywhere. But then she was trying to make me jealous. She kept following another resident of the home everywhere and basically doing what she was doing to me to another guy. But I didn't give a fuck about it, and honestly I felt bad for the guy. But hey, I guess the guy liked her because they ended up being in a relationship. But the relationship didn't last long because after 1 to 2 weeks they broke up. And I felt really bad for the guy because he had really long hair. I mean, he didn't cut his hair for 4 years, but he cut his hair for her just for her to leave him. A few days later, the guy I was friends with at the hospital moved in the community house. I was so happy, man. Like every day we kept talking to each other. It was really nice. And the guy brought with him a Benjamin with a weed cart and a DMT cart. I knew he shouldn't have these with him in the house, but I didn't snitch on him. I ain't no snitch, boys. After a couple of days, the 40-year-old woman knocked on the door of my room. I opened the door and she offered me a chocolate piece. I didn't think much of it, so I took the piece of chocolate and ate it. Not even 2 seconds of chewing the chocolate in my mouth, I knew something was off. It was getting spicier and spicier. So I spit out the chocolate and the woman started laughing. I asked her what the fuck was in that chocolate, and she told me it was some chocolate named Flaming Anus. And the shit is fucking over 2 million on the Scoville scale. It was so fucking spicy, man. Anyways, as the weekend was coming, I stayed at my parents' house for Saturday and came back Sunday. When I came back, I saw my friend from the hospital in the living room smoking weed out of his Benjamin. So I asked him what kind of weed is he smoking, and he said it's not weed, it's actually DMT. Then he asked me if I want some. At first I was like, hell nah, I ain't doing this shit. But he said it's not that bad. It only lasts 10 minutes and he knew about my 8 gram of shroom trip. And he said it's gonna be less intense of an experience than my mushroom trip. I still said no, but he kept on going, and because of peer pressure, I finally said yes. And because it was a weekend, I didn't have to worry about being caught because the personnel wasn't even there. And I thought to myself it's gonna be an experience I'm never gonna live again. So I took the DMT pen, started smoking the shit out of it. I was pulling until the pen was blinking. And when I exhaled, I knew damn well I was fucked. Not even 10 seconds after, everything in the room was collapsing. The colors were getting brighter and brighter, and there was some patterns appearing out of nowhere. I was anxious as fuck. I started screaming to the guy, "Why you did this to me?" And he just fucking laughed. After like 20 seconds, it kept getting worse and worse. Then I was gone. I was in a colorful hallway. I kept going forward even if I didn't want that. I felt like I've already been there for some reason. And then, I was in space in front of a creature that was talking to me with a language I didn't even understand. Then it took my hand and was guiding me through this place. There was entities everywhere looking at me. After what felt like an eternity, the creature brought me to a huge entity. And it was a big eye with some colorful tentacles. Then it started talking to me and I understood what it was saying. It said that it's not my time, I've come here way too soon. Then it said that I have to stop doing drugs. After that I opened my eyes, I was in the living room and I felt so fucking weird. It wasn't the same, I was completely freaked out. Then bro asked me how was it. I just said I never wanna do it again. After a few weeks, the personnel of the community house and the resident went to a place to make some signs to manifest because the government doesn't give enough money to support the community homes in my area. So I made a sign and later that day I went to the mall to manifest and man, it was so fucking embarrassing. Like we went to the food court and the protesters were screaming some random shit about how we want the government to give more funding. Then we walk around the mall, still screaming, and man, I just wanted to get the fuck out of here. After a few days, I got a letter from the Ministry of Justice and it said I have to go to court because I got into an accident while being high, so I contacted the legal aid to get a lawyer and hope he's gonna get me out of trouble, so now I just had to wait for an answer from the legal aid. After a few days, me and my bro went to the smoke shop and he bought some weed cards. Then we went in the living room and some other resident came in the living room. There was the woman and another guy, and all 3 of them were getting baked with the wax pen. But I wasn't smoking any weed because I didn't want to get caught, even though there was no personal since it was the evening. Then we started talking about magic mushrooms, and my bro said that he actually had 15 grams of mushroom in his room. So the woman and the other guy were hyped. They kept asking if they could do some shrooms. But me, I didn't want to do shrooms, I just wanted to stay sober. Anyways, my friend went in his room, grabbed the bag of shrooms, went back in the living room, and all three of them did I'd say about 3 to 4 grams of shrooms. And at first nothing really happened, we were all just talking and having fun, but after about 30 minutes, they said that they were feeling something. After a moment, all three of them were laughing and they had the best time of their lives. At this point I kinda wanted to do some shrooms because they seemed like they had a lot of fun, but I stayed strong and I didn't do any. Then these motherfuckers were talking about some theories about the universe, and it was kinda funny seeing them saying shit like aliens are looking at us and all we are just a test. Anyways, after a moment, I left them alone and I just went to sleep. As the days went by, my bro and the girl kept smoking inside and they didn't give a shit. Like when I got out of my room, the whole house smelled like weed, and my bro started smoking some blunts instead of wax pens. And man, he smoked his blunt on the balcony and it smelled so much like weed. Of course they were smoking weed when the workers finished their shift and we were left alone in the house. After a couple of days, we went in a park to keep protesting and there was a couple of people saying the speech. And man, there was a guy, I think he was in the wrong place. Like we are protesting because the government doesn't give us enough fun and the guy was talking about some LGBTQ rights and stuff like that. It was so funny though. Anyways, as the days went by, there was a new resident and at first we didn't give a shit about him, but one day I woke up like any other days, went in the dining room because every morning we had a reunion at 9 AM to make sure every resident are awake. But this morning was different. All the community house staff were waiting for us. When all the residents were in the dining room, they said that there was a complaint about multiple people consuming drugs in the house, and also they said that there was some suspicious smell. The woman said that she doesn't smell marijuana, but the staff said that they didn't mention weed. And it was a huge giveaway of who's consuming in the house, bruh. Like I know I'm stupid, but damn she's on a whole other level. I was so happy that I didn't consume weed. I knew I was safe. The staff said that they were going to search every room in the house and man, I saw in the face of the woman and my bro's face that they knew they were fucked. And I just wanna say that this morning I had an appointment at a pharmacy to get my medication. But I couldn't go there because the staff didn't want any of us leaving the dining room during the search. Anyways, once they finished the search, they called my bro in the office, then they called the woman in the office, and then they called me in the office. Once they called me, I was shitting bricks. I didn't have any drugs in my room and I was wondering why they called me in. In the office, they said that they found some rolling papers. So I had to explain to them that I had the rolling papers in my pockets before the accident. And after the accident, the hospital staff kept my rolling papers in my stuff and they gave it back when I got out of the hospital. I didn't know where to put them, so I just put them in my drawer and just forgot about it. And I even told them that if they want to prove that I don't consume any drugs, I do blood tests every week. I said that if they want they can go to the pharmacy with me so I can get my medication and they can also ask about my blood test result. So one of the staff went with me at the pharmacy, they gave me my medication and then I asked for my blood test results. But for some reason the pharmacy didn't want to give it to me. They said it's confidential. Like bro, it's my blood test results. There's nothing confidential about it. But they still didn't give me the result. So we went back to the house. They said that I can do a urine test. While they were preparing the test, I asked my bro what happened. And he said that they found some cannabis waste in the trash can in his room. So he was getting kicked out. Then I went to see the woman and I asked her what happened. And she said that they found some joints in her room. Then she asked me what happened. I said that they found some rolling papers in my room and they are going to do an urine test to see if I consume some weed. And man, when the woman heard that I can do a urine test, she got so mad. She slammed the doors, she was stomping in rage. She went to the staff and started screaming shit like, why can't he do a test and not me, and stuff like that. The staff explained to her that they found literally weed in her room, when mine they only found rolling papers. And I don't know why she was so mad that she couldn't do the test, because she wouldn't pass the test anyways. I mean, she literally smoked the day prior. Anyways, after a couple of minutes, I got a cup, went in the bathroom, peed in the cup, and now we just had to wait for the result. And guess what? I passed the test, so I wasn't getting kicked out. I was kinda sad though, my homie was getting kicked out and I really liked this guy. The next day had a whole different vibe. It was so quiet. One day I went to the convenience store with another resident to get some energy drink. And in front of the store there was a homeless girl. She asked me for some money and I was feeling generous this day, so I gave her a $50 bill. And she was so happy. She blessed me, then she walked away. But then I realized I might have done a mistake. After this day I've never seen this homeless girl again, and I'm scared that she bought too much drugs with that $50 and she actually overdosed. I don't know, but I'm scared it might have happened. I stayed at the community house for about 4 months, and my parents still didn't want me to stay at their house after my stay at the community house, and we can only stay 6 months there, so I had to find an apartment before my 6th month. So I gave my name to a supervised apartment, so now I just had to wait for a response. I had 2 months to get accepted. After a while, there was a new resident at the house. The guy was really fucked up. Like he kept scratching his face and he had a lot of red dots on his arms. I don't know why, but I have a feeling this guy really likes heroin. Anyways, this guy and I surprisingly got well together. We talked and he was a really fun guy. But he got kicked out after about 3 weeks because he got caught drinking alcohol. So yeah, not long after that I went to court with my lawyer. My sentence was a $1,000 ticket and I still can drive, but only with an alcohol ignition interlock. Even when I got caught driving with marijuana in my system. So yeah, after that I got an answer from the supervised apartment and I was accepted. So I moved in and that's it for the story. Like and subscribe if you want, and goodbye.